Hello and welcome. Today I have an excellent Feldenkrais exercise that will help with the alignment of the spine and release tightness and tension from the upper body. This exercise is part of my scoliosis program, and today I bring to you part 1. Next week I'll bring to you part 2, or if you want the whole of this exercise in one go, have a look at my scoliosis program. I'll leave the link below. Now, this can be a challenging exercise depending on the degree of your scoliosis, so please go slowly and gently and see how it goes for you. We start standing, so separate your feet hip distance apart, more or less, whatever it is comfortable for you, and just stand for a moment. Bring your attention to your feet. Notice where the weight of your body is on your feet. Is it more towards the front, more towards the back, maybe more on one foot than the other? Just notice that for a moment. And then have a sense for your uprightness, have a sense for your spine, your head on top of the spine, have a sense for your shoulders. And then move, turn to the side as if you were crossing the street and you're looking for cars. And notice how that feels in your neck, in your spine, in the pelvis. And then compare to the other side. Go slowly. The slower you go, the more you can feel and sense what's going on. All right, and then let it go, and then we're gonna come and lie on the floor. So most of this exercise is going to be done on the front, lying on the front. You might need something soft to be under your chest to be more comfortable. So if that is the case, then have a soft blanket around, handy for you to put under your chest. Now, if you have scoliosis, I want you to be very mindful of something here. You know your back, your spine more than anyone. And it's a good thing for you to get to know the movements of your spine, the parts that move better and the parts that don't move so well. During this exercise, I want you to make the movements as symmetrical and as balanced as you can. So say that your spine, when you tilt to the left, moves more or moves better when going to the left than when going to the right. So say that your spine moves a lot to the left, but when it goes to the right, it only moves a tiny bit. There's a big difference there. And you may feel that in different parts of your spine. It depends what scoliosis you have and the degree of scoliosis you have. So you know what parts of your spine move better than others. If you don't, it's something that you need to start paying attention to get to know the movements of your spine. Now, as you do the exercise, move less to the sides that you know that you move well or that your spine responds better. Okay, so that, or move as the same amount to that side as you know you're going to move to the other side. Okay, you want to make both sides as symmetrical as possible or as balanced as possible. Your overall goal as you do this Feldenkrais exercise with me is to reduce the differences of movement in your spine. Okay, it will never be perfect, it will never be perfectly balanced and perfectly symmetrical, but you can reduce those the differences between moving to one side and moving to the other. And you do that by reducing the movements to those sides that you know your spine responds better, your spine moves better. Okay, so you need to be very mindful of that when you move, so that you are not always moving a lot to one side and then a tiny little bit to the opposite side. Okay, so you need to negotiate with your spine and try to balance the amount of movements in your spine, so that you start reducing eventually, as you do more of this Feldenkrais exercise with me, eventually your aim is to reduce those differences of movement in your spine. Okay, so be very mindful of that. Something else we're gonna do during this movement is interlacing the fingers. Now, there is two ways of interlacing the fingers. There is the way that feels familiar, and there is the way that don't feel so familiar. And we call it the habitual way and the non-habitual way. In this exercise and all these Feldenkrais exercises, we always try to change from the habitual to the non-habitual way of interlacing the hands. This is very important because you will work different parts of the brain. The reason why the non-habitual way and the non-habitual way is by moving one finger along. That will feel unfamiliar, that will feel awkward. And the reason why it feels awkward and unfamiliar is because we're touching different parts of the brain that are under use. It's like as well when we cross the arms, so we cross in a way that always in the same way is the way that feels familiar. And that's a part of the brain that we always use. But if we cross it in a different way, if we bring the arm that is on the top, you bring it underneath, and then you bring that hand inside, so this feels unfamiliar. Feels awkward, and again it's because we touching different parts of the brain that are not in use, and we want to work all parts of the brain as much as we want to work all parts of the body, all the joints, all the muscles, to make the movements more efficient. But that goes with the brain as well. So we need to be touching different parts of the brain because that has an effect on our nervous system. That also helps us to maybe, who knows, avoid conditions like dementia and Parkinson's. It might make us more alert, have a more clear mind. It might make us more creative. Who knows? But there is scientific proof that it's good that we touch and work all parts of the brain. And this is one of the things you can do to touch different parts of the brain, is to do these awkward things and familiar things like crossing the hands or interlacing the fingers in the known and familiar way, and crossing the arms in the known and familiar way. We always touching different parts of the brain. And you can do that as well by doing a puzzle, or juggling balls in the air, or doing crosswords. All of that helps to work all parts of the brain. But here in Feldenkrais we use things like that, crossing the fingers in different ways, the habitual and the non-habitual way. So when I during the exercise I say to cross the non-habitual way, you know what I mean. All right, so let's start by lying on the back just for a minute or so. Okay, so come and lie on your back. If that is comfortable, bring your legs long. If it's not comfortable, keep your feet on the floor, knees up, but we're not going to stay here for too long. So just take a moment to feel the back of your body against the floor, the legs, the pelvis. Notice if you feel a difference between one side of the pelvis and the other. Very likely you will feel a difference. Maybe one side of the pelvis feels flatter or heavier or lower or higher. Just notice what you notice. Have a sense for your lower back and that gap. How far or how close is your lower back from the floor? Have a sense for your shoulder blades. Again, you might feel the difference between one shoulder blade and the other. Have a sense for your shoulders. There's one shoulder feels higher than the other. You can bring the hand and feel that space between the shoulder and the floor. Compare to the other side. And then very slowly turn your head. Sense the quality of that movement in your neck. And then compare to the other side. The slower you go, the more you can feel and sense and understand what's going on. Notice if your spine is the rest of your spine, your neck is part of your spine, and as you turn, notice if the rest of your spine is in your radar of awareness. Or is it just the neck? A lot of people lost this connection between the neck and the spine. Notice what's there for you. As you do these Feldenkrais exercises, that connection will become more clear, or will come back if you lost it. Okay, let that go. And then come and lie on your front. And if you think you may need something underneath your chest for comfort, then bring a blanket to put under your chest if you need. Otherwise, just take a moment on your front, rest your head down. Ideally, you want to be resting on the top of your feet, okay? So, a lot of people will lie with the feet like so, with the legs turned out like so, or the other way around. You don't want to do that. Ideally, you want your feet pointing, facing up, facing the ceiling, okay? So do whatever you can to lie on the tops of your feet and separate your legs to a distance that is comfortable for you, and just take a moment to arrive here. Notice how it feels to lie on your front. Okay, and then you're going to interlace your fingers the habitual way, and as we go along you just change from the habitual way to the non-habitual way. Sometimes I may tell you, sometimes I may forget, so that you know that you keep changing from habitual to non-habitual. Okay, so interlace your fingers, interlace your fingers. Bring the hand to rest on the top of your head, so on the head, not on the neck. And then from here you're going to lift your right elbow, only lift and bring it down. Do that a few times and just sense that movement in your shoulder blades, in your back, the muscles in the side of your spine. Just notice how far you can lift the elbow. Breathe in and out. Relax the jaw, relax the pelvis. Okay, then you're going to tap the elbow. You're going to move as quickly as you can. Do that a few times. Tap, 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 or move the elbow as quickly as you can. Okay, let go and rest. Okay, we're going to come back there. The same position, interlace the fingers the non-habitual way. Bring it back. This time, as you lift your elbow, you're going to lift the head and look towards the elbow. And bring it down. Lift the head and elbow, and bring it down. See if you can breathe out as you lift, breathe in as you bring it down. And again, just notice how it feels in your back, in the spine, in the shoulder blades. And you do it a few times, or until it is your body is telling you that is enough and you need to rest, you rest. You lift as high as you can comfortably. The other elbow is on the floor. The frame doesn't change. Okay, and then take a moment to rest. Okay, come back to the same position, and now as you lift the head and the elbow, you're going to roll. You're going to allow the pelvis to lift as well and roll to the right. As you roll to the right, as you lift the pelvis, allow the leg to be dragged. So the leg is going to bend and move towards the chest. Allow that to happen, but you are not moving the leg on purpose. You are allowing that leg to move because the pelvis is lifting. Okay? So you allow the leg to be dragged. You're not moving the leg on purpose. You're allowing the leg to be dragged with the pelvis or by the pelvis. Okay? And then you bring everything down with control. See if you can do this with the breath. Breathe in here, breathe out, lift and roll. Look towards your elbow and go back. Keep the knee on the floor. And go back as far as you can go. And you do that for as long as it is good for you. Whenever your body tells you to rest, you rest. Move with the breath. Breathe out as you roll. Keep the knee on the floor. Allow the knee to be dragged up. With control, come back. Look towards your elbow. Roll back. Okay, and then let go and rest. Whew. Come and rest on your back. And just notice the differences between one side and the other. From the toes all the way to the top of the head, there is a big difference between your right side and the left. Feel those differences. Breathe in and out. Okay, come back. And let's do things on the other side. So interlace your fingers the non-habitual way, bring it back. Separate your legs and lift the left elbow and bring it down. Notice if this side feels different. It's very likely that it will feel different. This side feels not so smooth for me. It's more difficult for me to lift the elbow. I don't think I can lift it as high as the other side. Relax your jaw. Make the movement smooth, not jerky. Notice if the movement is jumping or smooth. Your aim is to make it as simple, as smooth as you can. Okay, and then tap the elbow. Move it as quickly as you can. Okay, and then let go. Take a moment to rest. Okay, and then let's go back, interlace your fingers the other way. And now, just like we did before, you're gonna lift the elbow and look towards the elbow. And then you're going to allow the pelvis to roll and the leg to be dragged, and you're going to roll towards the right hand side. Then come back with control. Breathe in. As you breathe out, roll to the right. Look towards your elbow. Follow your elbow with the eyes. Allow the leg to be dragged. Don't move the leg on purpose. Just make no effort in the leg. That's what I want to say. Just allow the leg to move by being pulled by the pelvis. And notice what feels different on this side. Breathe out and move. Roll towards your elbow. Stay connected to your back, your spine. Don't forget to follow your elbow with your eyes. Keep the knee on the floor. Okay, and then let go, come back and rest. Okay, interlace your fingers again, bring the hands behind, and now lift one elbow, lift the other, and just alternate the movement. Just lift the elbow, nothing else. Breathe in and out. Notice the differences between one side and the other. Okay, and then lift both elbows at the same time and bring it down. Relax everything. Okay, and then let go, come and rest on your back. Take a moment to feel yourself here against the floor. Okay, so this is the end of part 1. Now, what I want you to do again, it's not the end for you here. I want you to repeat the full sequence again. But this time around, because you know exactly what you're doing, let's bring my microphone closer. Because you know exactly what you're doing, work on the quality of the movement, meaning make the movement simpler, more sophisticated, more graceful. So really pay attention and feel the movement in your body, in your spine, the muscles either side of your back. And if you felt that the first time around the movement may have been jerky or jumpy, whatever the word is. So this time round, you need to go through those obstacles and get rid of that jumping kind of feeling that you had before, or the jerkiness that may have been there before. So see how you can eliminate that by going slower, more gently, and paying attention to the movement. All right. So that's your homework, and next week I'll bring to you part 2. But if you want it now or everything in one place, then have a look at the link below where it will take to my scoliosis program. And if this video was good for you, give me the thumbs up and share it with your friends, and please leave me a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye bye now.